On today's DNVR Nuggets podcast, we're going to talk about who has the most to gain, who has the most to lose on the Denver Nuggets roster this season. We're also going to answer some mailbag questions and which team in Denver/Colorado is the most intriguing this year. All that and more on the DNVR Nuggets podcast. Friday.
Let's finish strong.
Oh, 3-day weekend, too, coming up. It's like a super Friday. Yeah, we got Monday off, baby. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR show. Live from the Toyota Lounge. A very quiet Toyota Lounge. Is it quiet in here?
It is. Does anyone still work here?
Does anybody? I don't know, man. I think they're all in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
But it is the Toyota Lounge, a quiet Toyota Lounge driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. I'm your host, Adam Matas. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Brendan Vogt, who is full of chicken.
Full and fulfilled, brother. We ate some chicken. We drank some beer, booze.
Yeah, booze, alcohol.
It was a good time, man.
Chicken fight.
We went to the Chicken Fight Festival, and that was my first time at Elitch's, actually.
You weren't really at Elitch's, though.
I mean, I was in.
You were in it. Did you ride a ride?
I didn't. No. But I had a great time with you and Dev. What a group.
Yeah, it was. It was fun hanging with the fellas, man. Sometimes we get out amongst the people. We got a lot to get to today. You guys sent some good questions. I always love when we get some good ones and some familiar faces. Mike Olson, Miroslav, sending out some good questions, which is great. Fun. Mailbag is such a cheat. It's like where we make the audience help us do our job.
Yep, do our show for us.
That's exactly what it is. But they helped out.
You guys are great at it.
Yeah.
You guys love doing 2/3 of your job, just saying.
A little behind the scenes joke there from
good.
producer. Yeah.
That's good.
But we start with our top story. Aaron Gordon. It was announced previously that he would be switching his jersey, which I kind of wish it wasn't. Because he had his own reveal last night on social media. Can we cue that tape here, Yaya? Here he is. Well, there's the end of it. Okay. Rips the jersey right in half. So windmill, our 360 windmill dunk, ripped the jersey in half, and there's a 32 underneath. By the way, from his studio, which you might recognize, or his home.
I didn't get to go to the basketball court.
Oh, really? You didn't get to see that
I just
part?
saw the astronaut.
Oh, man. What a way to announce the jersey change. Really cool.
Extremely cool. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Is the jersey pre-ripped, or is Aaron Gordon is that easy for him to rip it?
What do you think? Because I was going to ask this. Like, I don't know if I could rip a jersey, but it is if you like tear it a little bit. It's probably like just a little cut.
Just a little cut, and then it doesn't take much for AG. But honestly,
AG's way stronger than we are.
That's the part I'm having trouble wrapping my head around. But that's an easy rip. So that was my first question.
My thing is, remember Nike's product is so bad that he might have just
man.
Those shirts were ripping mid-game
That's
about
true.
2 years
That's
ago.
actually true.
So.
Yaya's cooking. Yaya's the star so far. But obviously, a sentimental number reveal, an emotional one, in addition to being flat out awesome. So, first of all, if you can dunk, you should whenever you get the opportunity to. As someone who can't, I think that like you have a moral obligation to. So very cool that he did it this way. Very Aaron Gordon, and I think everyone's looking forward to seeing him succeed in that number. It's cool, man. Like it's an emotional and powerful gesture.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I kind of like a jersey number change. You know, like, LeBron, 23 at 6, then back to 23 because of Space Jam. Then you have Aaron Gordon was 00 and then 50 because of the 50, not getting the 50 in the dunk contest. But now this one, obviously, with a meaning, I think it's kind of cool. Like, to me, I really do look at this and go, oh, yeah, he's entering his number 32 phase.
Me too. You know what else I thought? So if the Denver Nuggets go ahead and get another one, and Aaron Gordon's part of the core, and you have multiple titles, I think we have a conversation about retiring more than one jersey.
Really?
And
For Aaron Gordon?
but I'm just saying, why not, dude? There's been one title in Denver Nuggets history.
Well,
if there's multiple titles in Denver Nuggets history, and it's just put them all up there. And then Aaron Gordon gets to go up there in Drew Gordon's number, and I just think that hanging in Ball Arena would be awesome. So for 100,000 reasons, I want the Nuggets to win this title.
Is there a shirt? I don't know if D-Line is actually watching. I don't know if he's part of DNVR anymore. I haven't heard from him for like a month. Yeah. Have you heard from Eric? He like went on a journey like a month ago. I don't know if he's around anymore.
Yeah, I think he's in Boston, isn't he?
He's in Boston now.
Which Eric are we talking about? Eric LaQual or Eric?
No. D-Line.
Our Eric.
Because I was sitting here thinking as you were talking, he was number 50. Now he's 32. 3 is almost like. No, I guess that doesn't make sense. I was thinking of a 5280 somehow.
Oh, man.
But that didn't work. It's jersey side by side. I guess it doesn't work. I will say this. 360 windmill dunk casually. He still got it, man. You know, like he's a guy that is past his prime. Like I don't know if his apex was probably 5 years ago just in terms of raw vertical. What do you think he's at now? Like 95% still?
Yeah, maybe 90.
Yeah.
But because also it's
just of max vertical, nothing, you know.
It also just, I think, has a bit more of a grueling play style now that's sort of about like doing what Denver needs as opposed to just being a young gun out on the break and like, I want to put this between my legs all the time. But he's still got it. He's still got it. I do wonder about how Aaron Gordon will age as a basketball player. When your game is predicated on that kind of athleticism and power, lower body injuries can add up. All the injuries add up. He certainly still got it. I don't think we're there yet or anything. But I am curious to see how AG evolves as some of his athleticism is sapped over the years, because he's already shown one evolution in becoming a much smarter player than he was originally viewed as. And so maybe he can find a way to do it gracefully here in Denver alongside Jokic.
32 to me is a top like 5 jersey number 2. I know this is a weird take. 23 is kind of like, I think, broadly considered the top jersey number because Jordan, just so iconic, and obviously a lot of players followed behind it. But 32, you got Magic Johnson, you got Shaquille O'Neal, you get Jason Kidd. There's a lot of like really high profile players. And this is what the point I'm getting at. I actually love 32. I didn't love 50.
Yeah.
I get the thing about it, and I just love AG, so I'll love anything, that he does. But 32 to me is objectively better, and I don't own an Aaron Gordon jersey yet.
So
I think this is the year, and I think I'm going to buy a 32 AG. I actually just think I like it more. For some reason, it's dumb, but I like it more.
No, I like it more than the 50 thing. The 50 thing, I
didn't. It's all right.
It's all right. Yeah.
But 50 is a weird number.
It is. That's the thing. So, no, this is really cool. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the move and obviously the reason behind it. And, of course, the reveal itself. He is a very cool person. Much cooler than I, dare I say.
Well, also last night, not just the Chicken Festival, not just Aaron Gordon's dunk/jersey rip reveal, there was also the debut of the 2024 CU Buffs. And it was a heck of a game. A heck of a game. And we're not like necessarily, this is a Nuggets pod. I know not everybody's CU guys. But it was a heck of a game with some highlight plays, including the game-winning touchdown from Travis Hunter, which is, if you don't know, maybe the best college football player I've ever seen. Not that I've seen that many, but I've seen a few. He's the best one. He's pretty incredible. But it made me think there's so much hype around the Buffs and so much intrigue. It made me wonder, like, where do the Nuggets rank? Because you start to look around. Bo Nix with the Broncos. I'm excited. I'm very into this. The Avs are obviously still a great team, kind of like the Nuggets. Nuggets are a great team. They got Jokic. So I kind of wanted to go and try to order the Colorado sports teams by what we can, like, the two of us combined think is most intriguing.
Most intriguing.
Yeah, just like most interesting this year. I think we can start at the bottom.
Okay.
Who do you think's the least intriguing? And we're going to go with the Rams, the Rapids, the Buffs, and then the 4 pro sports teams.
I will start with the Rockies.
I think it's easy that the Colorado Rockies are by far the least interesting team just with where they're at in Colorado. And I don't even think we need to spend any time on them.
Nope, done.
You know what the highlight of the year was this week? Bark in the Park?
Did it go well, though?
It always goes well.
Oh, well then another successful season in the bag.
Actually, you know what it did? Sold out.
Sold out, yeah.
Dang it.
See you again next year.
All right, Colorado Rockies, number 7. Who is the number 6 most intriguing team in your opinion?
So for me, I don't...
You're going to offend somebody now in DNVR.
I'm just going to say Rams, but I don't... Like, I'm so detached from it. Like
I think that's part of it, right?
right, like if they might be intriguing, I wouldn't know why.
Yeah.
So that's not like that's about me. But
I think it's also fair, though. This is part of what makes something intriguing. You're not necessarily interested in CU football either, but you know about it.
Yeah, but there's a whole different...
Because there's intrigue.
There's a lot going on there.
I would go there as well. And I know Justin, excited about the season. They play tomorrow night. It should be a good team.
Yeah.
I actually think, as far as second least intriguing teams go, this one's really high.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at. The Rams, I would say, are intriguing this year.
They were kind of impressive last year. And it started with them being in the Rocky Mountain Showdown against CU.
And I'm not going to lie, I kind of like Norvell.
Dude, I do too. And I like Justin Michael a lot. And I want to see Justin happy.
Yeah.
Is that okay, everyone?
That is
I want to
okay.
see Justin Michael happy. That said, the Rams are 6 for me.
So that means now you have the 4, you have CU, you've got the 4 major ones, and then you got the Rapids still. So where are you going to go with the next one? And let us know in the chat, by the way, what your order is. I'm curious what the chat thinks.
So there's
You got to do it. You got to do it.
I have to do it. But for me, it's not accurate.
No,
But
to do it. That's for you. I want
It's for me?
make this your list.
If this
Yeah.
is for me, then
Yeah.
number 5, I have the Colorado Avalanche.
Well, because you're just not into them. Here's the thing: they might win the Stanley Cup this year, so I just have a hard time. This is right. Your list is now compromised. They might win the Stanley Cup this year. They're
You know
kind
what?
of
Hang
like
on. It's not the
perfectly
Avs.
analogous to the Nuggets,
Okay, here's the thing. I think the Avs are good.
and they're intriguing because you want to see, can they get it done?
Am I wrong?
Is Landy coming back? You know, is he
Did
gonna
a
be
lot of
healthy?
was a lot of wind taken out of the Avs sails in the last year and like
You could say the same about the Nuggets.
you sure could, and I'm going to at some point.
There's intrigue around the Avs, man. Come on, yeah, help out here, man.
Yeah, man, Avs are good. Not even if you're not even looking at it from like the sport aspect of it. You have the whole thing with Landy. Is he coming
Yep, is
back?
he coming back?
You
You're
have the whole thing with Nuke. You have brand new
Well, that
lines.
part's not exactly exciting.
Well, no, but it's intriguing
Okay.
to see what happens.
Okay.
There's just so many things going around it that can they come back? Can they bounce back?
Okay, I have to keep it real and put the Rapids at 5. But can I just say that I'm Rapids pilled?
Bro, I'm telling you, the Rams are exciting too. So this is my point.
Yes.
This is why I thought of this exercise. I was kind of like, dude, the Rockies are the one weird team. Everybody else is intriguing.
Worth
but,
watching.
But I do think you have to put the
I have
Rapids
to put
here.
the Rapids 5.
Like 1 month ago, the Rapids would have been an easy number 6, I think. But
listen.
they've had a very hot, is it called
Leagues Cup.
Leagues
They had a
Cup.
great Leagues Cup run.
They had a
And they're
great
also
Leagues Cup.
4th out west still. So there's like... But it's also an overnight turnaround.
Yeah, that's how it
So
goes.
that's what it...
Yeah.
But I got to keep it real.
All right.
That was blasphemous to the Avs. I apologize.
All right. So then next, now you got the top 4, you got the top 3 and the Buffs here. Who do you think is most in
For
fourth
me,
most
I'm going to go
intriguing?
Avs 4. I know they're good enough to win. I just sort of feel like it's... I guess it's very Nuggets-esque.
No, well, think of it this way. Here's what it is. The Nuggets and the Avs and the Milwaukee Bucks kind of all share the same thing.
I
And
know.
that when they were on top, everybody said this is, you almost get the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
After 1 year, you get knocked down a little peg, but not that hard. It's like, okay, we'll see. But after 2 consecutive years, we saw this with the Bucks where nobody's picking them to win, and Giannis is no longer in the conversation for best player and all this stuff. It's the Avs are in the same spot. They're 2 years now removed from their title. So even though they are contenders, they just have this lower level of like,
Right.
well, now it's no longer a dynasty. Like now it's like you win, you have this separation between your wins.
That's kind of how I feel. And listen, Nuggets are in the same place. So but I'm just personally
Yeah.
going to put the Nuggets above the Avs.
'Kay.
The Avs are a lot better than the Denver Broncos. Are they more interesting right now than the Denver Broncos?
Few things more interesting in sports than a new quarterback.
And for me, I haven't really seen the Denver Broncos happen. Like, I
Yeah,
know
oh,
it's
right,
a
yeah.
big deal here.
Right.
And I've been here for quite literally the worst stretch in franchise history. So I'm here for Bo Nix taking off.
Yeah.
And just so I can see it. So I have the Broncos 3 because I think they are on the precipice of getting good again, which would be very interesting and exciting.
What do you think? Yeah. You have Yaya's over here. His stomach is churning.
If you've been here for the first worst stretch of Denver Broncos country, and if Bo Nix doesn't work out, I'm finding you a new apartment in New Jersey.
That's
I'm
so
going to
true.
try to get you to
It's his
back
fault.
to the East Coast.
It might be his fault.
Send me to open up the Boston office. I'll do it. Yeah.
I think this is your list is actually pretty close to how I'd go. So you're going Broncos 3. I will say this, man. If the Broncos are good, I'm telling you, this becomes a Broncos country again. But nonetheless, I think that they are the type of excitement of a new quarterback is very real and very exciting. But it's also a slow burn.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, more likely, Bo Nix is going to be up and down.
Right.
And then there's going to be games where you watch. Like, you get all excited for. This is what's crazy about football. This happens in the NBA, by the way, too. But there's only one day off, and then you get a Nuggets game. Because you know when the Nuggets lose a disappointing game you looked forward to, it's like 48 hours of boredom. In football, 2 weeks.
It's terrible. Can you imagine doing 5 losers lounges in a row?
And well, especially that spans over a month, and that's the thing is like, all right, you're all excited for the opener next week. If Bo Nix comes out and has an underwhelming first game, you sit in that one for a week.
That's what I'm saying. Like the losers lounge is that night, and then the next show, and then the next show
the
until
whole
you
week.
reset. I now feel weird about where I'm looking at 7 through 3, and it makes sense to me.
It does.
But now I'm in a tough spot.
Okay, because you got the Buffs and you got the Nuggets.
And I don't know if I, in good faith, can put the Nuggets number 1 right now because I think they have the same kind of Avs thing. Like, if they win again, we're right back in the, is this a dynasty?
Yeah,
Is
you're
Jokic
trying to
the
step
GOAT?
outside yourself
I'm
here
trying to
and
step
be,
outside.
yeah.
But I also simply can't put the Buffs first on principle. But then also, if I'm keeping it 100%, the Buffs probably are the most interesting thing.
But here's the thing about the Buffs. Through 4 weeks last year, they were the most interesting team in football. Once the wheels came off,
I know.
They were not at all interesting. And I just look at what I saw last night, as fun as it was, and I go, I don't know, man. I think the wheels fall off again at some point.
Me too. So,
like, they're fun, and I'm not rooting for it. Like, all right, let's have it happen.
This is my take on this. The Broncos, to me, are more likely to make the playoffs and win a game than the Buffs to make it to the bowl. To a bowl game.
Wow.
You actually might be right.
You might be right, but the intrigue is so high.
Here's at least at this part in the season, I have to admit, even when I've got my hater hat on, you can't look away.
Yeah, I know.
You
It's true.
can't look away. But also, I agree with you guys that in 3 weeks, this is a completely different conversation.
Might be.
What do I do here?
So I think you go, come on, do the right thing. Here's how I'm going to sell you. Which of the teams has Nikola Jokic?
Yeah, you're right. Nuggets 1, Buffs 2. Let's do it.
Nikola Jokic, as long as he is on that Nugget squad, they're going to be number 1 for intrigue. I think this is true, but as much as this, whenever you do an exercise like this, somebody gets offended, like, oh, you disrespected my Rams or whatever. Here's the thing. Outside the Rockies, I honestly think 1 through 6 are incredible. It's a great time to be a Denver sports fan, Colorado sports fan, and it's a great time to be a DNVR member because we're obviously covering these like nobody else, where we have people that are solely focused on these beats and covering them 5 times a week. So I think it's cool. And honestly, in the DNVR era, 5 years, I don't think we've ever had 6 out of 7 that we felt were good.
It's really true.
Or
it's
interesting,
really true.
I
And
should
also
say.
the Avs stuff is just, it takes place at the same time as the Nugget stuff, and I'm on the other side of the aisle. So I just don't, that's probably the group I feel like I disrespected the most.
Yeah.
But it's like a personal attachment thing. I agree, man. I would, including the Rapids right now, and you know this, because I ask you every time I see you, what time are these teams playing? I'm seeded, 1 through 6.
All right, there you go. Let's take a break. That was a fun
real
exercise.
Quick, I will say, too, Rams might be really damn good this year.
They might be really good. Is this a prediction?
No.
Or
This is actually me watching football and looking at it and being like,
all right,
Mountain West is wide open. Rams have as much chance as anybody else to go out there and win
all
it all.
right. Look at this, man. I'm telling you, we're in a nice little golden era. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we want to talk about our headline topic, which we always do in segment 2, which is, of course, who has the most to gain this season on the Denver Nuggets roster or staff, and who has the most to lose? We're going to do that on the other side.
We're just talking to you.
We were.
Did you catch Prime on the sidelines last night? Would you say, Adam, that he looked motivational?
Yeah. Yes, he did, actually, as a matter of fact.
Thank you. That's it. Yes, and. We're doing yes, and here.
Yes, and.
Thank you. Coach Prime is quite motivational. Just ask anyone on that roster, and he wants to motivate you. So does UC Health with the Ready, Set, Go Challenge. They've tabbed Coach Prime as their chief motivation officer at UC Health's Ready, Set, Go Challenge. The goal of the challenge is to get Colorado back to its rightful place as the healthiest state. we know that can be about getting outside, hiking, all the great ways you can enjoy the great outdoors in Colorado. It's also about what you eat. And I am not here to tell our great podcast listeners that they have to go on some kind of diet. I am going to remind us all that it's about balance, and the little choices add up. Coach Prime is there. Nutrition Prime is there to remind you as well that it's all about balance in the belly. You really are what you eat. And we make small choices every day that have a big impact on our health. If you want to join UC Health's Ready, Set, Code Challenge, click the link in the show notes or go to uchealth.org/ready-set-co. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K, Ted. Like a membership program. It's actually not as strange so much as it is free and easy to download. It's called the Inner Circle. All you have to do is enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled once you've downloaded their app, and you get a lot of deals. Like, for example, your first 5 Polar Pops are free. That's pretty neat. Plus, you get member-exclusive beverage deals, like the Inner Circle members can get the any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents now through the end of the summer. You find it in the app under Inner Circle offers. Visit www.circlek.com/Inner Circle for more information on how to become an Inner Circle member.
All right, back here, segment 2, and I saw 2 people put in the chat their list. Taylor Klein had Nuggets 1, Avs 2, Broncos 3, Buffs 4, CSU 5, Rapid 6, Rockies 7, and then Gabriel Archuleta has Broncos 1, Nuggets 2. Always interesting. You're on the Nuggets show, but you got Broncos 1. Again, fair. Rockies 3. All right, the list is invalidated, I think. It could be that you just like the Rockies, but to say they're the most intriguing,
well,
come on,
but that's the thing. I think some people are like, well, these are just the teams I care about the most.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can put that in any order you want.
So coming into the season, who has the most to gain and who has the most to lose? I think there are 2 people that I would earmark at the top of this list, maybe 3, but I'm curious who you would put as the number 1 person who has something to gain or lose this year. Like the gap between what they stand to gain and lose is so wide.
I'm going to go Jamal Murray 1.
Okay. I think that's a fair answer.
I think Jamal Murray can put him. I think Jamal Murray gets to answer the question this year one way or another, and he'll either be like reveling in that or digging his way out of it for years to come. So is Jamal what the detractors say? Or we know he's honestly both, but
right.
Or is,
but which one is he going to be going forward?
Going to be going forward?
Or is he going to be both, which in a lot of ways would be bad? It's like that would also be a bad outcome.
And the weirdest thing to me, and it's very, very, very easy for me to say, it just feels like it's up to him.
Yeah.
Other guys are like, okay, this needs to go right, this needs to go right. And that is true with him in terms of health. But there's a little bit of like, brother, you are capable of this. And so
what does he stand to gain? Like, what is the upshot here?
He's right back where he was 2 years ago, man.
Wins it, but I mean, is it wins a title? Is it?
Yeah, the Nuggets win a title. He's tremendous in a playoff run.
You remember where he was ranked? Like ESPN rank should start coming out here in the next couple of weeks. And I'm so curious where he is, but he was like 17 last year coming into the season.
That's what I mean. And I think now, so let's go off the 2K ratings just for an example. They had him as the 38th highest player overall.
38th. Kind of feels right.
And that's the thing. Is that who Jamal is? Is he going to live there?
Is he the 40th best player? It's so far down.
Or is it going to be, if he does it one more time, then you get to go, look, I don't care about the accolades. He's just clearly one of the best point guards in the league. And then I think you sit back and you go, yeah, man, like maybe it's not 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100 perfect, but we're not breaking these two up. We're just not. And everyone gets to kind of relax. So for me, this is the year of Jamal Murray, but not as in he's going to be amazing, as in this is the year. This is the inflection point in his career, I think.
I think he's a worthy answer. He wouldn't be my first answer. He does have a lot to gain, as you mentioned, because I do think coming back with a FU year, just a rebound year where he's great from start to finish, you know, he gets to like throw some egg, and even our faces, like every analyst face in the world, it gets to be like, see, I told you what I got, which even if I would say, well, you weren't that in 2024, which was the only point, it doesn't matter. Like players, they get to use that fuel, and if they bounce back from it, they get to have, you know, they get to sort of throw tomatoes at the doubters.
Yeah.
But the lose part here I'm curious about, because he is most likely, again, he hasn't signed this extension yet, but he is likely to be a $308 million man, which is like, okay, well, how much risk is there then if you're able to sign a deal worth that much money?
So, I mean, he's not going to lose anything financially, but trust and goodwill in the org and the city and just security and like, oh, they want me here and I'm their top choice.
And career trajectory.
And career trajectory.
Andrew Wiggins got a second big contract, but nobody thinks of him positively.
Correct.
He's almost thought of it negatively. And if you sign a contract and then are just bad, and it's like a 5 years of that contract, that's all you're known for. You're not even known as a person. You're just an Andrew Wiggins' contract.
This could be an incredible, very fun run to end his career. Or it could be middle career. As in saying like the back nine as opposed to the front nine, but he's on hole 10 or whatever. You get what I'm saying. But
he might be only on like hole 7 though, to be honest with you. I mean,
or it could just get really not fun. It could get really unfun going forward. And I think this summer everyone got a taste of it. So yeah, I just think it's a huge year for Jamal.
Who would be number 2? I'm curious because I had a different number 1, but I'm curious who your number 2 would be.
I think chat wants me to say it, and I'll say it. Calvin Booth in his front office.
I think to me it's the number 1 because he literally has the most to gain in terms of he doesn't have an extension.
Right. So, all right, hear me out. Nuggets losing the second round. Does Calvin Booth have a job here next year?
I mean, again, it's too hard to say because you have to see how it happens,
Sure.
Like a competitive this or that, or is it underwhelming? I just think, do the Nuggets perform to the standard we expect? Is their hat in the rink for title contention? Or would we go through it and we're like, they weren't really that close to winning it or something? Because I think that's the part where Calvin Booth is maybe not solidified yet in the future. He's won a title. He's been a GM for 2 years, and one of those years they win a title. He gets credit for that. But you could also get fired in short order after that. And he, more than anyone, has made the bold moves. Christian Braun's our guy. Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther. These is the way forward. If those guys play well, he stands a lot to gain. Because then he looks like a genius, and all the people in the chat saying you're wasting Jokic's prime have to eat crow.
No one will ever be able to tell him anything again if he hits on this.
It'll be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But if he's wrong, obviously, not only does he likely either lose his job, like if he's really long, lose his job and everything else, but then maybe it will be part of the now is Denver uncertain about what direction they're going? Or they fall. Now we have to find somebody to pick up the mess. This or that. So I think the range of outcomes from him is probably the widest of any person in the org.
I think so. Great question here. Yaya, can you pull up this comment from the Oso Blanco, friend of the show? Actually, real life homie who we met in San Diego, I believe.
Hell yeah.
Does Booth really have that much to gain, though? Comparatively, he'll never get the credit or the big money.
I strongly disagree.
I think this year the conversation is lined up for him to get the credit because it's his choice to go, no, it's actually Christian Braun and not KCP or anyone else. And it's his choice to say, no, it's Peyton Watson and Julian Strawther, and I'm not going to give you other options. And the other options now that exist in Russ and Sharge, also his signings. I think this would be the one that if it works, Calvin Booth gets to say, not that he would, but if he wanted to, hey, remember the whole long-term plan I had? Can everyone just settle down? Because I'm on to something here, and it turns out two titles in 3 years isn't so bad. A lot of ifs involved, but if we're just doing the hypotheticals, I think Booth can get a lot of credit.
Not to mention, man, here's the thing. Last year, we kind of have an analysis of what last year was and where it went south and the different things that you needed. But the truth is if you win this year, say the Nuggets win a title this year, it completely recontextualizes last year.
All
even.
of
It changes the narrative. Then you really can just say, well, Murray got injured a bunch last year and the team was tired. Yep. And it really wasn't maybe anybody's fault as much as it was just an injury. And they won 2 out of 3, could have easily in an alternate universe won 3 out of 3. And Calvin Booth could be 3 for 3 in championships. Like, to me, it's so hard. When you say, can a guy have something to gain? He's been a GM for 2. This will be his 3rd year. If you win 2 titles in 3 years, you can't tell me a guy doesn't have a lot to gain? Who has ever done that?
Flip side, if you're looking for pictures that fans put on their dartboard, for all the same reasons, if you come up well short, well, hey, man, you insisted that it had to be Christian Braun. You let KCP walk. So I do think just in terms of perception and trust and goodwill at the fan base, a lot's on the line.
And again, we've analyzed what we think. I think there's a lot of risk. I don't agree with everything Calvin Booth has done. In fact, some things I really disagree with, and we've talked about it a lot. I do think he's a very smart guy, and they booed Joe Lacob after the Warriors traded Monta Ellis.
That's right.
To clear the way for Steph Curry. Fans are not always right. Sometimes fans see what they think they see and they think they know, and then a GM or a front office or an ownership group is justified at the end. So we'll have to wait and see which way this goes. But I think Calvin Booth, certainly there's a world where he is the hero of the season, and there is a world where he is the everything is blamed on him in the season, and I just can't imagine a wider gap in outcomes. All right, so that's our top 2. We had different orders, but those were my top 2. Who's number 3 for you?
Well, we've got a star player and a front office member out of the way, so let's check our scapegoat odds here.
Yeah.
Head coach, come on down. Michael Malone, I think, would certainly face a lot. Well, first and foremost, our chat will heat up in the Malone department. And, look, as of right now, Malone is the only head coach to win a championship with the Denver Nuggets in the NBA. And that's a really, really, I think he's beloved in this city.
Yeah.
You go and you get another one. Not only are you solidified as, one of the all-time Denver coaches.
Nobody else has won more than 2?
I think you also start to sneak into the... I'm not saying he is as good a coach as Phil Jackson.
Right.
But the way that coaches' legacies are solidified is they get tied to an all-time great and they make the most of it.
Doc Rivers is thought of ahead of George Karl, for example, and I think they're pretty comparable, but one has a title.
And so, is it all about, is a lot of it about Jokic? Yes. But that's how it works with head coaches. And so Malone can be the guy that is in charge while the Jokic era goes largely the way we've wanted it to, if they go and they get another one. On the flip side, if they come up short, it's just what people do. You just start talking about the head coach. Is he the right guy for this? It's great that they got one. Do they need to get another guy going forward? Whether that's fair or not, that conversation will heat up. And that's the life of a coach, I think.
And there's something to getting to be the coach of a great player for his entire career. And if you fail this year and end up getting fired, there's another coach. Like right now, we call it the Jokic era, but it's also the Malone era. Those two things ran parallel to each other. They arrived on the shores at the same time. So it's also possible that it would just feel weird if there was the Malone Jokic era and then the so-and-so Jokic era.
It would feel weird.
It would feel weird, and so there's something there. But he was number 4 for me. I had a different person. Who do you have next?
I just saw what you did there. I'll say it for you, but I want to hear you cook. Russell Westbrook is an interesting selection.
Talk about a lot to gain. This is an MVP. This is a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. It's a man that's averaged a triple-double 4 times in his career, but kind of, in some circles, thought of as not a winner. Guy that it's just hard to win. Can you win with him? Chris Paul has a little bit of this.
Man.
Great as he is, I just don't know if you could ever win with him. Will you come here and win? Your entire legacy is defined differently. And yes, he is now in a limited role. He is more in a lesser role. But you know what? There's a lot of players that won in this particular. And if Denver wins, I have a hard time imagining he doesn't contribute in some way. Like, he still contributes. So to me, Russell Westbrook can really, really. It's not just a cherry on top, right? That's almost like just an extra little bonus. This would really complete the legacy for him, in my opinion. So coming to Denver and winning, absolutely think there's an enormous high upside. And by the way, I think it's his last chance. I don't know if there's another act for Westbrook after this.
Brother, the Denver Nuggets and Russell Westbrook need each other.
Yep.
I can't believe it, but they do.
Yeah.
This is doing these shows with you all week has, I think, for better or worse, and it could go in either direction, it has me very fired up just about the possibilities.
Yeah.
And the stories. And yeah, man, Westbrook needs a ring. And it, as an aging, dominant on-ball guard, there were just some awkward attempts to figure out what does ring chasing look for him? What does teaming up with another star look like for him? And yeah, I think it's tied to LA despite some relative success with the Clippers. There's this notion that not only has Russ never won a title, but he's a vampire in the locker room.
Right.
He was, right?
Or just a guy that's kind of hard to fit in.
That's just hard to
he
be
didn't
around.
fit in on this team, didn't fit on that team.
And if he just fits in Denver and they win, go ahead, Yaya.
The Rockets, to me, is the first thing I think about Russell Westbrook.
Oh, okay,
That's
with
the
Harden.
team. Yeah, Harden, they should have been the dynamic duo. And that's where I think about Russell Westbrook for the most part. Like, I forget about that LA stint.
Yeah. He has a really weird legacy, and if he comes here, it just completes it in a way of like, you know what? Everybody just needed the right fit, and he found one at the tail end. Elway 1-2 at the very end of his career, and it's like a storybook ending. It completely changes everything for him. Even though Elway's best years were earlier on, although his last year, that offense was so freaking good. But, he would say his prime was prior to 97, 98. And Westbrook can have a similar thing, like right out into the sunset with a couple titles. And it's like, no, that guy was actually a winner.
Totally.
He was always right there.
And on the
Changes
flip
everything.
side, like you said, if it doesn't happen here,
If it doesn't happen here, I do think you look at and go, maybe not the Rockets, because at least they were close. You know, at least they were a good team. But you would look at the Lakers, the Clippers, and just say, like, he wasn't able to fit in and be this other guy. It would be a negative. Then Denver would be a negative. So he has a wide range of outcomes. Let's take a quick break here, because on the other side, I got a couple more that I just want to throw out and ask, what is the gain and loss probabilities for these players?
All right. Let's do it. But first, I'm thinking about going camping. I'm thinking about a floating pack of beer.
Oh, I know a company that sells those.
I'm thinking about knowing that all my food and beverages are stored safe and sound and easy to lug around. I'm thinking about Rugged Road, yeah. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Again, this is a very easy read to the Colorado base. Their products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions, whether you're on land or water. Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. You see, we've got that cooler there on the screen for you that they're trying to sell. And Adam and I have already discussed, what's cooler than drinking a beer out of a floating cooler?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Can I tell you something, though? Let me paint a picture for you. It's
Please
September. You go up to Rocky Mountain. The grass is, everything is gorgeous. The temperature is perfect. Maybe you have a little hoodie on, a light jacket. You go up. Oh, you're going to throw that out here? You go up there with a cooler, Rugged Road cooler. You go to Moraine Park or you go to Horseshoe Park. You open up, you get your chairs out, you open up the cooler, you drink some beer while you watch the elk come into the meadow. Have we done this together?
Not that, but we have looked at animals in the mountains together. Yeah, we just haven't brought beer in a Rugged Road. So now I know what we're doing next.
You sit there and the elk come out in the evening, they're bugling, they fight. It's incredible. Nice little picture I just painted there.
Yeah, get ready for those summer adventures with Rugged Road coolers. Is everyone okay?
Is everything all right?
Good? All right.
That was my elk bugle. Did you hear that?
But luckily, everyone.
Is that pretty good?
Sounded like whistle.
Dang it.
Luckily, everyone just re-upped on their insurance. We got workplace accidents going on. Hey, get ready for your summer adventures with Rugged Road coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DNVR for 10% off your order. Lightweight, durable, and always floating upright. Perfect on land or in water. So, Adam, this is the CTA, buddy. So leave that old heavy cooler at home and get yourself a better cooler for the new season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion.
Huh? What else you got?
No, that was it.
We're
man.
back?
Yeah.
All right,
you missed the
back.
end.
Telling you, I love it. It's one of my favorite things. All right. We're back here. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the elk bugles and the different things we have going on. Who else has? I think those are the main guys that have a lot to gain and a lot to lose. I'll throw out another guy that I think actually has a lot, and it's Christian Braun. What is Christian Braun's career? Is he a starter? Is he actually just a KCP, a Caruso, a guy whose offensive limitations are they're not that big of a deal because he's a starter, shutdown caliber defensive player. This season could solidify him as that, which would solidify him as like a 10, 12-year NBA player. The same way KCP is a 10, 12-year NBA player.
Right.
So to me, this is a pivotal year. He gets a chance. Are you watching Elk Bugles now over there? Is that what Did you hear that?
It did sound a lot like the elk bugle.
Is that what's going on? Okay.
Focus, Adam. Focus.
I'll focus there for a second. Christian Braun.
Yeah.
A huge upside for him. And then if it doesn't work out this year, I know we haven't even talked about this, but if Christian Braun can't win the starting shooting guard or he's just not good at it, does he get demoted? Is he part of Denver's future? Or is it's it's just not quite what we were hoping?
Yeah, I mean, I do think Christian Braun has a very, very high, he is a rotation player on a good team. So if not here, somewhere. But he can take a leap in how he's understood, right? From a guy who doesn't make mistakes off the bench to a contributing starter for a title team. And then also getting into that short list, maybe the second tier of, man, these defenders, you just don't want to go up against this guy on any given night in an 82-game season. Like maybe the super painfully obvious one is Caruso, and not necessarily exactly the same defensive players, but can he break into that kind of convo of oh man, we our guard has to go against Christian Braun tonight. That's going to be exhausting. And you can do that. You can do that alongside Jokic. You can just play smart basketball. You can cut. You can play hard, and you can make a name for yourself. It's been done. And Christian is poised, I think, to do it.
Yeah, I think he has quite a bit here. Yoke, I don't know how much he has to gain or lose. I mean, look, we talked about the 4th MVP, how historic that would be. But I just, at this point, he's one of the greatest of all time, and worst case scenario, he's one of the greatest of all time.
And also, I would absolutely hate if they didn't get this one. It's not door closed,
right? Necessarily.
We could talk about that, but he's not retiring next year. So the only thing is he just has, I think, an insane amount to gain in that. Like, if he just gets another Finals MVP this year, you just look back at the last 4 to 5 years and you go, I'll take it with anyone's best 4 to 5. Honestly, I really will.
All right, let's go to a mailbag. Yeah. We got some mailbag questions from the people. They sent out some good ones here. Our first one, I don't know, comes from Miroslav. You want to read it? The homie.
Yeah, it's from Miroslav Chuk. What would be a neutral outcome for the 2024-2025 season for the Nuggets based on their current roster? So an on-par outcome. This is a good question.
I think you would just call it par here. But yes, what would be par for the Denver Nuggets? Miroslav doesn't golf.
Hey, it's his second language. It's actually like his third or fourth.
He's an impressive guy. Yeah. Not at golf, though.
No, is that true?
Terrible golfer.
So
I bet.
I haven't figured out my answer to this question, but I think it's a really good one. Also, I'll lob it to you.
Oh, great work here. Mm-hmm. I think par for the Nuggets this season, certainly competitive for a title. You feel like they could have won it, and they probably make it to the conference finals, and it's like 50-50 whether they win or not. I think winning the title would be considered over par, like above par. Like, that would be better.
I agree.
Because unlike last year, I don't think they're favorites.
I agree.
I think they now are challengers to 1 or 2 teams, including Boston, who probably should be favorites. So par, I hate to say, feels like Western. I'm not saying it should be. You have Jokic, you should have a team that is favorites all the time. But I think this year, given the roster and circumstances, I think conference finals, probably 53 wins or so. Conference finals, that would be par.
I agree. I think if it's second round, you're going backwards. Like, I know they just lost in the second round, but you can at least say right now in the modern era, it's hard to go back to back. No one's done it yet, so you can at least understand it that way. If they go and then get second again, I just think you start feel like it's going backwards.
Everybody that says like same as last year, lost in the second round, I get it, because you could say the supporting cast is worse. But if Murray is that bad again, Denver's just in trouble for real. Like, Murray, I think Murray was horrible in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he was horrible.
Yeah,
I know he had a couple games where he scored this, a couple quarters where he did this and that, but he was horrible.
They should have made the Western Conference Finals last year.
Even if they
were never going to win, they should have. So they came up short, in my opinion, of what par expectations were. I'm going to leave it there. Conference Finals. The goal, as a front office, you are thinking we got to win every one while Jokic is here, right? You're not settling as far as expectations, but doing a podcast, I do think nationally right now, if the Nuggets went on to win a title, enough people would be like, I didn't think they were going to do it this year.
Yeah. Next one comes from Mike Olson, a.k.a. Visible Mike, who is our columnist here at DNVR. Writes a column every Thursday. You guys should be checking out.
Just put one up this morning, actually. It's on the DNVR.com.
After a healthy and productive Joker and a healthy and productive Jamal, what is the most crucial piece the Nuggets have to have right next season?
Man, that's a good question.
It's a really good question, because I do think that healthy Jokic, healthy Jamal is easily 1-2. When he says piece here, it's almost as, is it a player? Is it something else? Because if it's player, I mean, it's always going to be AG and then this or that. I almost don't want to answer it that way, though. Just like, all right, healthy Murray, healthy Jamal, and X factor circumstance. What is it?
It's a good question. I don't have an answer. I'm thinking, though.
Really? You don't have an answer?
I don't have an answer.
I would actually, I know this is going to sound crazy, because I default to what I expect Michael Porter to be. I default to what I expect Aaron Gordon to be. I default to a lot of guys. The one I think is such a big X factor is going to be Christian Braun. And I think regular season is Julian Strawther, because, again, he's going to have to play every night. They need the shooting. But in the playoffs, if you told me you have Christian Braun, who is now a real KCP replacement, to where he is as good, albeit in a different way, as KCP was, then what are we talking about? And if he's better, if he has the ability just to be an even more impactful defender, is it possible Denver has a better starting five, a better playoff five, and now you're really just talking about 2 guys off the bench? Any of those 2 guys need to show up.
I'll say the bench, but I want to get specific with it, because the bench has been a problem. The bench was actually a problem the year the Denver Nuggets went 16-4 and won a title. So it's more of how I would say bench and rotations.
Yeah.
So, like, the bench looks good enough that you're comfortable opening up the lineup versatility, opening up the rotations, so that guys are more likely to be healthy. Or
I like your answer.
Confident.
I like your answer because it almost lends it more, and I might change my answer now to say Michael Malone, because I really do think Malone has a unique challenge this year relative to what he's had. He does need to figure out, in my opinion, a new rotation. Not we have new players, same rotation. A new rotation, and I think they need to change some of their core principles. I think they need to get more motion in the offense. They're going to have to get more creative in how they scheme offensively. And Malone has not proven to be a guy that has had a lot of interest in that. So to me, I think the third wheel after Jokic and Murray's health would probably be Michael Malone and how he approaches this new challenge. Does he have trust in Peyton Watson?
Right.
Is Peyton Watson a guy who's looking over his shoulder every time he takes a three because that's how the sole reason he's being judged?
Right.
Julian Strawther, same thing. So I think Michael Malone, how's he handle Westbrook? I think it's probably Michael Malone and how he handles this year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you there.
Mitch has a question for us here. He says, are there any rumors of Denver waiving Pickett and signing a vet like Patty Mills, Jay Crowder, Bobby Covington, Reggie Bullock? I can't believe we still have the Bobby Covington.
Hang on. Is that Robert Covington?
In the year 2025.
I didn't know we were calling him Bobby.
Very strange one. But nonetheless, here, waiving Pickett.
First of all, that's the Trevor Ariza Award. Is Robert Covington?
Well, I think it's the
now it's the Covington.
Yeah,
Award.
I was gonna say it's the Covington Award. Like that's actually 10 years dated.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. I have not heard any buzz or any rumors about Pickett getting traded. If he were to be traded, I expected it to get traded. Like David Roddy got traded, I don't know, a month ago, really late after the trade season had kind of wound down. That's the type of move I would have expected. If Pickett was going to get involved, it would have been that. An end of bench 15th guy who just makes slightly more than Pickett does, and you swap him and you go that direction. But so at this point, no. I think you can look at that happening maybe later in the year. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver tried to buy him out later, but I don't think going into the season. I think Pickett's going to be there. He's going to be at camp, and we'll just have to wait and see. Not going to play.
Agreed. Towel waving.
I hope. Maybe not. He seems kind of down. I don't know if he's going to be a towel waver.
I thought you were about to be like, no, he's going to be on the floor. I was going to throw my laptop at you, dude.
No, because there is the Ronny Turioff towel waver. Mike Miller, that guy's real valuable, even though he's not playing. I don't know if Pickett will be that guy. We'll see. Jay has a question for us. He says, in honor of DLLS launching, I have two questions. One, if you had to move to another city and join their team, which one?
Boston.
And two, what would be your least favorite city to add to the family?
Yeah. All right.
Is it in both cases here?
Yeah, so 2 is Boston for me, obviously. Number 1, Chicago. That we have so far.
Because you just it's cool guys. Chicago's a cool city.
Chicago's amazing.
Think about talking about that Bulls team every day, though.
Yeah. Well, I would
Patrick Williams.
I think I would.
Is this his year?
Maybe just horizontal move to sales or something. But I would live in Chicago. So great city, especially in the summer.
Can you picture vote in sales? Yeah.
I can't imagine him talking to anybody outside of DNVR.
Hey, I'm gonna go after the show. I'm gonna go grab the sales team, and I'm gonna ask them who their favorite talent is for sales. Okay,
there you go. If you had to move to another all city and join their team, which one would it be? I like the Dallas Crew. Some good peeps down there. Their team is interesting. I couldn't do Philly. Can you imagine Sabbath? Like, I'd have to go talk about Embiid all the time.
You just simply couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it. And I don't think I could do it for Phoenix either. So you're really just talking about Chicago or Dallas. Chicago is a cool city, but man, basketball season is freezing cold, and that team sucks.
That's a really good counter. That really is a good counter.
And unlike you, I'm not a salesman.
I can't say Phoenix because last summer I got kind of obsessed with the weather map, like the heat map.
Yeah.
And I just checked Phoenix every day.
It was nice in the winter.
You're just like 115, 115,
well, that's
115,
the summer,
115. Yeah. I know, but it's just crazy. I don't know how people live
Chance
there.
of rain 0%. Yeah. You're like, what is going on?
You're like, the lizards are thirsty. How do you do this?
I know. The lizards are thirsty. They're so thirsty down there. What would be your least favorite city to add to the family? What is it?
It's LA. By a mile. Every LA team is horrible.
Here's the thing. I'm a businessman. I think LA would crush. I think LA would do okay.
Personally, though,
bias.
Personally.
Coastal bias.
Coastal
LA definitely
bias.
didn't feel like our vibe. New York doesn't feel like our vibe. But we're going to get there eventually. I mean, that's the vision. That's the plan. Is there another place that is just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City would also be on here. Like, Chiefs. I'm a Broncos guy. You got a Chiefs thing. They're going to be good for a while. That would be a bummer.
No, it's Boston for me. And this is a joke as someone who knows nothing about the business plans. I know you're going to do it. Just fire me first.
Yo, honorable mention is North Carolina.
North Carolina? What do you have against North
Nick.
Just because we have a social guy who is a Hornets fan. He's from Carolina.
Passionate
Hornets fan, and it's hilarious. Honestly, it is hilarious because there are fan bases, and you always wonder, like, who buys into it, man? Like, who buys into the Hornets? And then you meet Nick, and you're like, this guy.
He's really bought in.
He's like, they're good now. LaMelo.
You see Nick, and you're like, oh, that kind of person.
I guess they were sponsored by Mr. Beast, right?
Yeah, it's so
this
perfect.
Is all kind of lining up.
That brother Nice has a question. He says, can Peyton Watson end the season top 5 in blocks? He framed it kind of funny there, but I cleaned it up.
Like in the NBA?
In the NBA. So I did a little math for you because I know you didn't do the math on this one.
That's correct, yep.
Rudy Gobert was 5th last year with 162 blocks. Peyton had 88. Half as many. Now, let's up his minutes from 17 or something last year to 22, which is aggressive. Only 4 players on the Nuggets played 2,200 minutes last year. Aaron Gordon, KCP, Jokic, and Michael Porter. Those are the only 4. So I don't know if Peyton's going to play 22, but let's be generous. At the rate he blocked shots last year, he'd only get to 130. So not only would he have to play a lot more minutes, which we kind of expect to happen, but he'd also have to block shots at a much higher rate, like a meaningfully higher rate.
Yeah, so I'm going to say no. But top 10 could he sneak into? Here's the thing. Peyton likes blocking shots.
He sure does.
It's very much something he is into doing. So I also think that's sometimes how Peyton feels like he can, because as you mentioned, there's not a ton of freedom afforded to him offensively. So I think sometimes when Peyton's like, I got to make a play here, it's, all right, I'm making this block. I'm blocking Steph Curry's layup when he's not even my guy. So that's going to be his approach. I'm going to say top 10 he could sneak into maybe. But so top 5 seems tough.
Kristaps Porzingis last year, I think, was tied for 10 with 112.
Okay.
110, somewhat likely. Like, I think he actually could get there if he's healthy. So top 10 would be awesome. And for a guard, that would be great. I mean, you're talking about Jaren Jackson Jr., Wembanyama, Gobert. These are your leading shot blockers. If all of a sudden Peyton Watson's in that group, it'd be
agreed, but
crazy.
I don't really think Peyton's a guard.
He's a forward. But I'm saying he's not a power forward.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
Everybody is either centers or power forwards.
Yep.
He's a small forward, like a true small forward. So if he's in that conversation, it would be crazy. And our last one comes from Trey's. He says, realistically, how much longer is the Nuggets championship window with Jokic?
How old is Jokic right now? 29?
I'm
going to say there's at least 3 more years. There's probably more, but just like, it's so hard to... In the NBA, it's like, even hypothetically, it feels silly to try to extend things beyond 3 years.
Right.
But I would say you still probably have at least 2 to 3 years of this is the best guy. And if he's not the best guy, he's very much in the conversation. I think he will still be the best player for another 2 to 3 years. So maybe that's how I'll answer it. It could very well be longer than that. I just don't know what doors close and open beyond.
I think Jokic is going to have an argument for best player in the world for the next 2 or 3 seasons, and I think he's going to have an argument for best top 5 player in the NBA for the next 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So that means your window is likely there so long as your max contract players don't get hurt or completely poo the bed.
Right. I agree with that.
So right now, that would mean with Jamal Murray, we're not sure what we're getting from him. I feel relatively confident that we're going to get a good version of him, which means I think it's going to be open for like 4 to 5 years, because even Jokic is no longer the best, but a top 5 player. You still can build a championship roster around it. When he's the best player, I think the margin is so wide. Like right now, this is what's tough about the Nuggets. I think the margin is pretty wide.
Yeah.
It's pretty wide. So you have that margin, and as long as Jamal Murray and all these other guys stay healthy and are able to live up to their expectations, it's wide open. It's Friday. You want to have a little fun before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I want to have a little fun here. Okay, well, you're going to have to do it then. We are going to blind rank or have vote blind rank again. Some more Nuggets props. Little things that could happen. And you learned your lesson from last time, didn't you?
I did, but I feel like
now you know. I didn't put like championship in there. I didn't put things that are going to be so clearly number one. I put things that should be, everybody would have a different answer. Okay,
all right.
My first one, Jamal Murray wins Player of the Month. Without knowing what comes next, where do you think you would rank that 1 through 10 on best outcomes? Player of the month.
Which month is it?
I can't tell you that. I can't give that much detail.
Because if it's the first month of the season, I'm
All
putting
right.
this high.
Well, if you could choose a month, which month would you choose?
First month of the season.
Okay.
You choose the last month of the season.
Because it's going into the
Because it goes into the
postseason.
playoffs, and you got a hot Jamal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would much prefer
We've
to
seen
see-
Murray be good in March and
I
April.
would really love for...
Never really seen it in October, November.
yeah, I was really hoping for... Yeah, I would so... But I'll put that... Let me put that...
A month is a long time. Mostly, like, Murray... I wonder what the lowest ranking player to win Player of the Month is. It's pretty rare that a guy 38th best player in the league wins Player of the Month.
He's never won this, right? I mean, there's
Murray's never won Player of the
won
Month.
Player of the Month. How would you beat Jokic? Okay. So then in that case, yeah, I'll go up to 5. I'll put it at 5.
Man, I think this one's higher. If Murray was Player of the Month, and it's by conference, so imagine he was Player of the Month over all the great. He outperformed Jokic, Luka, Wembanyama, LeBron, AD, Steph. He outperformed all those guys for an entire month.
Yeah.
I think that's one personally, but
Yeah, you know what?
it's too late.
You sons of guns.
No way. Jokic perfect triple double. Is this old news now?
Kind of is, brother.
It's not though. It shouldn't be. We can't get numb to it.
It kind of is.
Can you picture Luka having a perfect triple double?
Yeah,
I can't. He shoots too much.
sure.
You know, like tough shot.
He would have to be like
hyper efficient.
He would have to be like, I'm going to try to be Yoke today.
Yeah.
So,
But a Jokic, another perfect triple double. It's old news. You don't care anymore.
6.
6. Man, Jamal Player of the Month or one good Jokic game. This is wild.
Well, I didn't. It's blind ranking, man.
It is blind ranking. Westbrook 40-point game.
Good Lord.
Do you know when the last time this happened?
No. When was it against the Nuggets?
No, it was in Washington though.
Oh, that's right,
When
yeah.
he played for the Wizards in 2021. That was the last time he had a 40-point game.
I actually remember that.
So can now he have a 40-point game for the Nuggets would be kind of wild.
First of all, I already hate my list, so that's the problem.
Do you want to move the Jamal one?
So badly.
Do you want to move it? I'll let you do this.
Can I get
Where
one?
do you want to go?
Can
You're
I get
going to
one
one?
life? No, like one
more game?
lifeline.
All right, one lifeline.
I'm gonna put it at 3.
Man, it's not even that far of a move. I can't believe I awarded this to him.
I mean, it's
All right, Westbrook 40
increments
piece then.
of 2 on a list of 10.
That's true.
Westbrook 40 piece. That'll put at 5. I actually have that above Yoke perfect triple double.
I think it is cooler. Like
Yeah.
again, like you said, we've seen the Yoke triple double. Westbrook 40 piece it's been quite a while. MPJ wins the 3-point contest.
Fuck yeah. Sorry.
Doesn't mean anything.
Gotta stop doing that. It doesn't mean anything, but I'm fired up just about the thought. What do I have? I have 6 taken. Let's put that at 8.
Play along with us, by the way, in the chat. I'm kind of curious what everybody thinks with this one. This one would have been 10 for me. It doesn't matter.
That's me, not you, buddy.
That's very true. All right, speaking of Michael Porter Jr. has a 10 3-pointer game. Just to give you some reference, his high is 8. He's had an 8-3 game. 53 NBA players have made 10 or more threes. And when you look at the list, there's some dudes that would blow your mind that have done this before. So it's very... Bogdan Bogdanovic did it last year, if you recall. He had a 10 3-pointer game. But if MPJ gets 10 threes in a game, that's 30 points. We're already minimum, so we're already almost at a career high.
I have 5 open, right?
No. 4 is open.
Cool. Good job, vote. Yeah, I'll put that 4, man.
This one would be insane. I would have this one higher. That's the Porter game, probably. If he has 10 threes.
See, here's where now I like this list, because if you look at this, you just got our non-Yoke guys going off.
Yeah.
I like that. But Jamal going off for a whole month, I think, would change the whole complexion of the season.
100% it would. 100%. All right. Zeke Naji shoots 40% from 3.
10.
I just don't care. That would be a good story.
No, that would mean we have to talk about Zeke Naji this season.
My God, down so bad. Julian Strother scores 30 points. In a game.
9.
That's not that important to you either. That's a lot of points.
I think it's really cool.
You just don't care that much. All right. Julian 30. Julian 30 piece. Murray scores 25 and a quarter. Now, this has not been done too often, actually, in the NBA. 25 points in one quarter. So that's like the ultimate Murray flurry.
7.
These are because it's the context is what you're doing. This would be cool, but it's not that long lasting. I think that makes sense. All right. You've got 2 left. What spots are open? Yeah, 1 and 3.
Oh no.
1 and 2.
I'm so bad at this game. I'm so bad.
Well, maybe not. Calvin Booth makes a solid trade for Zeke and Pickett. Solid trade.
Honestly, that's a good 2. I think everyone would be thrilled.
Solid trade. You get back like a rotational piece. Not bad for Zeke and Pickett. And then the last one here. The starting lineup has a better net rating than last year.
Oh, let's go. Number 1. This worked out. And all you have to do is pretend I have a pro Booth agenda for number 2.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we're good.
Let us know if you agree. We'll tweet the list out, but let us know if you agree or disagree with Vote's list. Any super chats? Yeah. We worked so hard this week. We have to have a super chat.
All right, I'm going to not look, but I'm going to guess. It's from Cedric Exquisite?
Nope, it's from the Exquisite Nugget.
Oh, close. Is the word no in there?
The Exquisite Nugget. I would have skipped this topic and just say all the Nuggets are good. We're getting a chip. No Adam, no Vote. Don't worry about my last super chat yesterday. Just know that Vegas is wild.
Did you hit that outro music for us? Hit that outro music. Everybody, full week, 2-man game.
Great stuff, man. That was fun.
Usually we'll say this was like Jokic and Murray 2-man game. I think we were Reggie DeAndre this week.
I like
that. In the bailout game.
In the bailout game. Dude, that's really good.
People didn't know. They're like, oh, it's off season, just the 2 of them. You know what we did? Bailout.
No, and I felt like Facu beating the Houston Rockets.
Oh man, Facu and Rivers? Is that what we are?
Had like a 12
getting a playoff win?
12 points, 7 assists, 4 steals against the worst team in the league.
Oh, there you go. We didn't even talk about MPJ and Austin Rivers. We'll have to do that next week. Everybody, thanks for hanging with us all week. You guys are real ones. The realest of the real ones. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you next time.
We all silly like the mayor.